Yes, seatbelt. Yes.
Me and my comb over gonna have a problem tonight. I'm sorry, people, but it is true. I have a comb over. Hey, can we get the healthcare law to get some genetic engineering, and I can get my hair back?
I told you what you can do.
Don't start with the paint on the head. Yeah, everybody. She keeps trying to tell me I ought to spray that paint on my head. Look,
Well,
I'll
it's
go
out
bald
there.
before I spray paint on my head.
But it's not actually a paint. It's a spray just to cover the bald spot.
I am not putting paint on my head.
Do the audience want to hear this?
No, I'm sorry,
Not
audience.
really.
She wants me to put paint on my head, and I'm not going to put paint on my head. Call in if you think I should put paint on my head. 412-231-2288. If you think I should put paint on my bald head, call in. If you agree with me, no paint on AJ, call me up. Let's go for the video. And thank you, Yuri. What's my last name?
Alexandra.
We want to thank Yuri Alexandrov. Give
Yes.
me a hit.
Hey!
Go Yuri's in the house!
Yes.
And now to the video, please. Hello, everyone. I'm Albert Torcaso of Humanity Matters, and I'm coming to you live today, Easter Sunday, April the 4th, 2010. And I'm coming to you with a lot of relief, satisfaction, and sense of accomplishment for not only for myself, but for our nation. Because you see, victory has happened with regards to the healthcare law. Yes, as I speak with you tonight, we now have a healthcare law. Now, it is very true, many of you are in fear of the new healthcare law. Many of you think it's going to affect you in a negative way. Let me ask you a simple question. Do you know any older adults in your life? Are you maybe over 55 years old? Well, without getting into the particulars of this law, what you need to know is that within 6 months, you're going to get $250 toward your prescription cost if you fall in the so-called donut hole. What you also need to know is if you are a person with a pre-existing condition, within a few months, it will be illegal for insurance companies to refuse you being able to be in their private plans. Now, with just those two prerequisites, we are going to bring freedom and financial relief to tens of millions of our fellow Americans. So indeed, when you get rid of all the propaganda from the political establishment, when you get rid of the insurance company and insurance industry lobbyists and the lies that you see on TV, indeed, my friends, we are talking about a real victory for our civil liberties, for our lives, and for this great nation. Yes, this is a victory. You could almost say it's a second emancipation. Why? Because now that people with pre-existing conditions will be allowed to shop for insurance just as an able-bodied, non-sick person could. Because of that very fact, we will be able to increase the disabled Americans' chances of working in the workforce and becoming a productive citizen. Now, I know our economy right now is not so great. Unemployment very high. So the last thing we may want to do now is bring even more people into the workforce. But that's where you need to think positively, progressively, and in a different light. You see, you can't think about April the 4th, 2010, and only think about April the 4th, 2010. Because let me tell you something, we will fix this economy. And we will bring all the Americans who are not working, we will bring them back into the workforce. But we will also create additional jobs and bring disabled Americans that never was able to be in the workforce. We're going to bring them in too. So this is a victory. This is the second emancipation. This is finally going to give many Americans a fair chance in the race of life. Words by Republican President Abraham Lincoln. This is victory. Just like the song "Victory Is Mine" by Dorothy Norwood, victory is ours. But now, before I go, this of course is spring 2010. And we now have something we've never had in America, a healthcare law, which is going to bring about freedom, bring about new opportunities. So I'm going to give you a brand new challenge. And I'm going to look close into the camera, and I'm going to get a little bit closer. I'm challenging. All right, everyone, we may have time for second tape rule, which is about the challenge. But one thing you need to know, for those of you who have internet access, you really need to start going to www.humanitymatters.org. I am going to be having an extended version of this show. It's internet only exclusive. There will be an extra 10 to 13 minutes of things you won't be able to see tonight because of time constraints. I'm going to definitely air the one where I challenge all of you to basically learn something brand new and to go out and do something that maybe you've been wanting to do for years and people told you you can't, or maybe something you haven't even thought about doing, and all of a sudden you said, you know what, I'm tired of not having a job. The economy's bad. Maybe I want to start a business. Well, this is part of the challenge because this really is, this video I spoke about, I took time on Easter to film. I took time out of Kathy and my sister's time and Donna and Diane because, you know, it's important that we do these things. But I said that this law is essentially the second Emancipation Act. And why I say that is the disabled Americans, and most people don't even know this, there are many millions of disabled Americans who can physically work but are receiving funding from Social Security and or welfare, not because they don't want to work, not because they're lazy, layabouts, whatever you want to be calling them, but because they cannot receive or could not receive Medicare due to pre-existing conditions. Being that this law now exists, that means they will be able to get covered either through their employer or their own coverage and be accepted because they can no longer be denied. Now that may not kick in till about anywhere between now and 2014 or 2014. But the bottom line is, it is a second emancipation. We are going to bring more people into the workforce. And I said on that video, maybe not right now, you may be saying we have enough unemployment, but this is going to be fixed. This economy is going to come back 100%. Trust me on that. And when it does, we're going to have more people in the workforce. And what that's going to ultimately do, and the media won't even pick up on it for the most part, because quite frankly, they don't think progressively or they don't think in a future tense. But ultimately, the more people we have in the workforce, the lesser the tax burden will be on the individual and on the family, and also inflation will be affected. So this law is so positive and is going to affect us in such a great way, on a positive way, and in your pocketbook, that we can't tell you now, and we can't even tell you in 2 hours, because there's so many different aspects. What I can tell you is that the net has some very vitally important information to give to you. So I'm going to shut up.